How's
Let me
that?
take a drink, then we'll start this.
Agreed.
Welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I'm Eric.
What the hell, Eric?
What? What?
How are we starting that? You had like a 5-second delay.
I must have been on your end.
Right, okay. Anyway, welcome back to the Morning Ramble. It has been 2 weeks. We totally lied about doing a podcast the next week. We totally lied about doing a thing about that documentary that Eric mentioned. I looked at it. I watched it. It all went south. Sorry.
Wait, did you watch it or no?
No, I sure didn't.
Excellent.
I like looked at it and I was like, okay, I'll mark that to watch later, and I'll watch it right before the podcast. But then it was your daughter's birthday, so that kind of, I was just like, well, I'm sure he doesn't want to do a ramble today, so whatever. Yeah. We're doing one now. We've got a couple things to talk about, but firstly, I want to talk about something.
Okay.
This is the Nintendo Wii remote for the Nintendo Wii. It is colloquially described called the Wiimote, but the official name is the Nintendo Wii remote.
Excellent.
Why did they not just call it the Wiimote?
I don't know. I never liked the name Wii to begin with.
Why didn't you like the name Wii?
Because I was a big GameCube fan, and when they were developing the Wii, I was like constantly watching them, like just seeing like the progress of it, and the code name that they had. I think we actually mentioned this like last year on the podcast. The code name for it was the Nintendo Revolution. Mm-hmm. That was the code for the Wii, and I thought that was the coolest name ever as a kid. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my Nintendo Revolution. And they changed it to Wii, and I never bought one. And the GameCube was the last Nintendo system I owned. Because I did not like the name.
Why don't you want this?
Don't want it.
The Wii is great. The Wii is a great system.
Yeah.
Oops, I dropped it. I dropped the Wii. It's fine, though.
Yeah. That's how good it is.
The Wii is a fantastic system. It has GameCube backwards compatibility on most models, which is fantastic. It's got all the ports and everything. I play GameCube games on the Wii. I've considered getting a GameCube just to have one, but there's no point because I have a Wii. I could play GameCube games on it.
And you can use the same controller.
Got my GameCube here. Right here, Eric. I've lost my mind a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
That's the GameCube game kit.
So speaking of video games, I actually bought a new video game this week, which I rarely do. I only have like 5 games that I play on my Xbox. But this game's been out for quite a while, and I bought Rocket League.
I saw that you were playing that. I actually have been considering buying it myself, and joining you and playing Rocket League. Because I have Xbox beta on PC, so I can actually do cross-platform.
Yeah, a lot of games are cross-platform now, which I think is really cool. I've actually been playing with Tad on Call of Duty, and he has a PlayStation 4. But Rocket League, it was only $20. I bought it, and it's a ton of fun. And I'm like, oh man, how old is this game? And I look, and it's like 5 years old. And I'm like, all right, well, better late than never, you know.
There's still like a ton of people who play it online. It's apparently just a very fun game.
It is. It doesn't get old either. You know, it's a lot of fun. Well, I mean, I've only played it for a week, so we'll see if it gets old. But it's a lot of fun.
I mean, it will eventually, but then again, I also thought that you would get tired of Halo, and
no, I never get tired of Halo. I only usually play first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Halo, World War Z. Actually, World War Z is a third-person shooter, but so I don't really play a lot of other games. So Rocket League is something different just to play if I get bored of shooting people.
Bit of a change up for you. I've been playing 2 games recently. I've been playing Sea of Thieves, which was an Xbox exclusive, but now opened up to PC as well. And that's fun with other people. By yourself, not fun. With other people, very fun. That's kind of just how it is. And I've also been playing Lord of the Rings Shadow of War.
Oh, okay.
And that game is super.
Yeah.
But also being a big Lord of the Rings fan, that's, I don't know, just the thing. We're going to get into news here. We're just kind of catching up a little bit. Also, we just wanted to talk about something that wasn't coronavirus, but here we go, into the Rona.
That's right. All right, let's stop having fun. So let's talk about Pennsylvania news first, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So we were announced, Luzerne County that is, and Columbia County was put into the yellow stage, I guess, yesterday. And Luzerne County is going to be in the yellow next Friday. So I thought we should go and kind of look at what these phases mean, because a bunch of counties are going green, and I don't think green is what people think, you know? Have you looked into it at all, or no?
People think that being in the green means that you just go back to living life the way that you were living it, which is indeed not the case.
Yeah, so I really think they need to change their color schemes. Like, I think the yellow should be the orange phase, and I think green should be yellow, and then they should reserve green for when we're not, you know what I mean, following CDC guidelines. We're not doing that, which, you know, I'm still hopeful that that's going to happen this summer. You know my opinions on it. But basically, green, the fact that they list the first phrase in the green phase here, I'll put out the chart up when we're talking. For social settings, it says not to return the way things were, but changing behavior for a new normal. I hate to be one of the people that say this, because I've seen a lot of people say it, but I hate that phrase, a new normal. I hate it so much. Because I just, I don't know. What is your opinion on it?
I don't know. I think it's apt. Because I do think it's apt, because it's like, are people going to, if they get sick, is it going to be like Japan, where if you're sick, you wear a mask? It's the polite thing to do. That's just how it works over there. Is it going to be like that? No, absolutely not. Some people might do that, but not a lot. It's not going to be the zeitgeist. It's just not going to be how it is. But I think that people... Yeah. I wouldn't mind that either. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Andrew already does that. When she has a cold and she has to go to work, because, you can't just cough every time you get a tickle in your throat or a runny nose, she wears a mask because she deals with patients and stuff, and so it's polite. So I think that if you're really sick and you're going into a grocery store, first of all, you should try to have someone else send you to the grocery store. This is nothing to do with COVID. To me, this is just common courtesy. Wear a mask. Who cares, especially now, everyone's so used to it. But I think the one main point in the green phase that they were pointing out was that the businesses would only occupy 75% of their normal, their capabilities. So restaurants, which it was at 50%, and I think Wolf, they bumped it up to 75%. So that's not too bad. I think restaurants will still be fine, because they're fine right now. Everyone's doing takeout like crazy, I think the people that will probably struggle the most... Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like 75 is not too bad, especially because of the way restaurants are,
Yeah, but that's not how bars operate.
True. I'm out of bars, so...
If you've got a special event going on at a bar, you could very easily hit capacity quite quickly.
Yeah.
And those are the nights where bars really make their money.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Do I think that all restaurants are going to be fine even if we're just doing takeout? No. A lot of them are still closed out here in Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
quite a few of them were closed for several months, and now they're doing takeout, but they've only got like 1 or 2 employees working. So the rest of the employees are not working right now.
Exactly. You're going to have these restaurants and these businesses open up, and if they can't perform at their normal amount of business, they're going to have to probably lay people off if they're not already laid off themselves. They can't hire them back or anything. So it is a real problem, and I think that's the problem with this whole phasing and stuff. I get the concern. It's just I think that this is becoming to the point where there's no end in sight, in the opinion of these state governments, and to me that's just not acceptable. You need to justify 30 million people out of work in this country. You need to be able to have you need to justify it, and I just think there's too much teeter-tottering with the CDC and these health organizations. I don't know. It's not right.
What would help with that? A strong leader.
The thing is, though, it's not. These states, though. I mean, Trump's. Listen.
I know, Eric. I know. I'm just pushing your buttons.
Don't push me. No. Yeah, you're right. Tom Wolfe. No. I don't know. These phases, though, I don't agree with the colors. Do you have anything
the color
else?
Scheme.
Go ahead.
We should change it to pink, yellow, 7, and the Batman symbol.
Mahogany. It's a shade of wood. So I wanted to talk about something that happened about a week ago, and it has to do with Colorado. And to me, it kind of brings in question the way that our health organizations are counting COVID deaths. So I didn't look up the most recent number, but I think as of a couple days ago when I saw it last, we were at 92,000 nationwide for COVID deaths. I think I'm pretty much in the ballpark there. So COVID, a lot of people are questioning, like, how are we considering who dies? You would think that would be a simple yes or no. Did they die from COVID or not? But it's not. And one thing that Colorado is changing beginning May 15th, is that they're going to have 2 different numbers to count people with COVID that died. Did you see this at all? No? So this is straight from Colorado.gov, the way their case data works, and I'll just read a little bit here. So it says the number of deaths among people with COVID-19, so that there's going to be splitting it into 2 different numbers. So it will be deaths among people with COVID-19 and people who died from COVID-19. So until now, if you died from something other than COVID-19 and you had COVID, you were counted. And I know you might think that's a small number, but just within, I think it was this month's number at the time, a week ago, it took COVID deaths in Colorado from like 1,000, like 200 and something, all the way down to a little over 700. So it took off like almost 25% of deaths just from that factor alone. To me, that's crazy. Did you hear anything about this?
No, I didn't hear anything about this.
And a lot of states are still doing that. So, I know it sounds very conspiratorial, but, that 91,000 deaths, to me, it wouldn't be surprised if it was several thousand less than that, and could be more. Because I just feel like there's been a lot of stories out there, even in Pennsylvania, I think it was the beginning of May or late April, overnight, the CDC just took 200 deaths off the previous week for COVID with no explanation. They just took it right off the number. 200 people, just whatever.
Right.
I expect more accuracy from the Department of Health and the CDC,
Well, that's the thing about viruses. Like, with viruses, like, say you have, I don't know, I'm going to... Say you have AIDS, autoimmune, which is a virus. Say you've got AIDS, then you get coronavirus. You have autoimmune disease. Ultimately, AIDS is the thing that killed you, but coronavirus was the thing that pushed it over the edge. Like, I'm not saying if somebody has a heart attack or a brain tumor or something like that, and they have coronavirus, and then they die of a stroke or a heart attack. I'm not saying that should be counted, but I am saying that should be taken into account with a grain of salt, because viruses do tend to weaken the immune system.
Right.
Existing conditions and then kill you. So ultimately, it was the catalyst that did kill you, even if it was not the thing that killed you. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense, because that also goes into the same way that, obviously a lot of people, it's not COVID that's killing people. You're getting COVID, and then you're getting pneumonia, and those two combinations combined, then it turns out you're also 74, whatever. You're a smoker, just one step after another. I get that, and I think that should be considered as a COVID death because it was that ultimate outlier. But also, you can also say that how many of these people that died from COVID would have happened with the normal influenza, the seasonal one. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how next year goes, if it's going to be something that is just kind of blends in with normal seasonal influenza, because we've had spikes certain years and lows, So I just thought it was interesting, though, that this was something that Colorado has just decided to split. And it makes you wonder how many states aren't even doing this, because there was some...
Like, weed's legal in Colorado, so I mean...
It makes them think more.
Yeah, I mean, they're just sitting there just like, what if we split the deaths up? What if we did that?
Yep.
Pass the Twinkies.
So... Anyway, there's some thoughts on COVID. Do you have anything else you want to add?
On COVID?
Yeah.
I feel like we really should have continued calling it Steve throughout this entire time. Confused people who didn't.
We blew it.
Yeah. I just remembered. And I don't know. I'm getting sick of it, but at the same time, I'm also back to work full time. I worked some overtime last week. I'm in people's houses. Oh, here's one thing that I do want to mention. If you at home have a person who's coming to your house, like say an HVAC or a plumber or an electrician, somebody who has to come into your house to look at something, and they walk in and they're wearing a mask, you are not obligated to say, oh yeah, you don't need to wear that mask in here, buddy. I haven't been out of the house in several months. I'm getting really sick of hearing it.
Yeah. I think I agree with that, because I'm trying to think of a scenario where I had that situation where someone was wearing a mask around me. I forget I was in the store, and you technically have to wear masks when you come into the store, but according to the store that I work at, we're never going to turn someone away, especially if they need medicine. That's just not going to happen. But I had someone rushing in last minute before I was closing, and they were holding their shirt over their face, and they were trying to pay and all this other stuff. And I was about to say, you could stop, it doesn't matter. I don't care, But then I didn't want to say that, because maybe they're doing that because they're doing it for their own health. Maybe they're afraid that they're going to catch something in the store. So I'm just, people will do what they want to do, and, it's their own choice. So
you don't need to mention it to everybody, because
exactly.
It's been every other house I go into, literally.
Yeah, that'd get me.
You don't have to wear the mask. I'm not contagious. I'm just it's not for me. Look at what masks do. They help me, if I have the germs, to not spread them to you. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Plus, also, you work for a company. I'm sure it's your company's policy right now that you have to do that. Exactly. Yeah. So.
And it looks like we're carrying sanitizer everywhere we go. We got sanitizing wipes and everything. And if a customer is down in the basement, we'll tell them, hey, 6 feet or go upstairs. That's just how it is. I don't like to tell people how to do things in their own house, but if somebody like law enforcement came by, or code enforcement or anything came by and walked down into the basement, and I'm not wearing a mask and they're not wearing a mask and the guy's right over, I'm gonna get screwed.
Yep.
So that's pretty much how it is. Next week we have a very special thing. I'm gonna send this to Eric. We're going to send this game to Eric, and he's going to play it, and we're going to do a full review of it.
I guess that's not going to happen.
That's Superman 64, widely considered one of the worst games of all time, by the way, to anyone who doesn't know.
I've never played it. So.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad, Eric. Do you have an N64 or not?
I used to, but not anymore.
That is the only game I own for N64.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I have the N64. I have 2 controllers, and that's the only game I have.
Yeah.
So expensive.
They are. My sister has one, I know, and she has all the games that we used to have when we were kids. So I wanted to mention one thing that I think I sent you that meme just because I think it's funny. So Biden was in an interview with someone, I forget who it was, and did you watch the video by chance?
No, I didn't.
I watched it. Yeah. I didn't want to cringe. Yeah. Yeah, I saw the memes and I wanted to watch the video just to see what the context was because I hate taking things out of context. So basically, he was talking to someone, and for context, he was a black man, and they were talking about all the legislation that Biden has done over the years, and how he's backed by the NAACP and all this stuff, and the guy started mentioning, voting for him and stuff, and Biden's just like, "Are you kidding me? Like I did this, and you ain't black if you don't vote for me," and it was kind of said real quick, yeah. and like, first of all, any person who says that they're offended by that, I mean, who's white shouldn't be, because it doesn't affect you at all. But I just think it's funny that you would say that. Like, why would you say that? And so my favorite meme is the one Family Guy episode where Peter's holding has a crown and it says King of the Blacks on, and people have been photoshopping his face on it, and it's pretty funny.
Oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh, okay, I can believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
This is going to be one of many things that happen over the next couple months between Trump and Biden, just different comments, and I'm just interested to see how a lot of the mainstream medias like CNN and stuff are going to talk about it. And just for instance, I pulled up just today's article. This is CNN analysis just today, this morning, and here's the title. It says, "What Biden said was outrageous, but so was the reaction." Like, so yeah, that's CNN article right there. Yeah. So apparently, you can criticize them, but not too much. I don't know. It's just a funny.
I mean, this is honestly this presidential race that we've got going on here, which I wouldn't trust either of these men to run half a mile, but this is going to be the ultimate foot and mouth race.
Yeah.
They're just both going to continue saying stupid things all the time until September, and then a little after September, and whoever won is just going to keep saying stupid things.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm just throwing out a prediction here, which I know we don't go by the polls anymore or anything, but to be perfectly honest, I'm pretty sure Trump's going to win.
Yeah. It would have to. Something crazy would have to happen, in my opinion, for that to change. There's just so much disgust among the Democratic Party with this whole process. You know, a lot of candidates just dropping out and endorsing Biden. You know, that whole sense of like, oh, it's his turn, that kind of thing. It was the same thing with Hillary. You know, I hate to go back into that, but it was the same thing. Oh, it's her turn now. So, you know, I'm not a Democrat, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. But I can just tell by a lot of people they're just disgusted with it. It's the same thing. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. June 2nd is primary day for Pennsylvania, and I got my mail-in ballot, and I threw it away, and I'm going to go vote. So, yeah.
Why are you even bothering? What's on the primary docket for you to do?
Just to check Trump's name, and that's it. Just to do it. Honestly, I wasn't even going to because, you know, no one's running against Trump, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just doing it because I'm so sick of I've gotten about 3 or 4 different things in the mail saying, here's your mail-in ballot. Make sure you do a mail-in ballot. Make sure you request a mail-in ballot. And then you got everyone in the state government saying, hey, you should do a mail-in ballot. And it's like, no, I'm not doing any mail-in ballot. I will go and vote. I'm not doing that. So we can talk about that more once the generals come, because I think there's going to be a big push for mail-in ballots, and we'll just see how that progresses in November, but I don't think it's going to fly too much.
There was a fairly big push for mail-in ballots in 2016.
Was there?
On the Democrat side, yeah. I mean, I've been an independent for, 10 years at this point?
Yeah.
But I originally registered as a Republican, and I switched to independent. But I voted for some Democrats. And I've been getting stuff from them for a long time.
Yep.
So they were bugging me in 2016, like, oh, yeah, you should mail in your ballot. You should mail in your ballot. And the whole reason for it is because they're trying to target the people who they think are lazy enough to not go out to the ballots. Which, in that case, at that time, boy, were they right. I was too lazy to go out to the ballots.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, that makes sense. But, yeah, it's just a primary, so whatever. But it's, you know, the generals, we'll see. You know, how that goes. All right, I think that's all I got.
That's about all I got, too. And what a time to stop doing the Morning Ramble.
Yep. Sorry, I got my family at my door waiting for me to stop.
So. They're all just knocking.
They are.
Okay.
They're just like making food.
Have a good
night.
All
right, I'll see you later.
All right, bye, everybody.
Yep.